One of the things that I love about growing houseplants is experimenting with different ways of growing them. Now, there's not one perfect method or magic secret that's going to help you grow your plants, but there's definitely things you can do to change the way your plant grows, and that's going to be dependent on your environment as well. So such things as light and humidity, those kind of things. Over the last couple of years, I've been trialing different support systems for climbing aroids, so planks, bamboo stakes, and even moss poles. When it comes to philodendrons specifically, although they need a support system to get larger leaves, they definitely don't like the wood plank. Now, I like the wood plank for its simplicity. It is a low maintenance method of getting plants to get larger leaves, and then obviously there is no fungus gnats when you have a wood plank. But for some reason, the philodendron, doesn't matter which variety it is, their aerial roots do not latch onto the wood plank. However, they do extremely well on a moss pole. Now, down over here is my last remaining philodendron that is on a wood plank. Right back here is my beautiful philodendron majestic. I actually won this plant in an Instagram contest a couple years ago, and despite reading that this is a fairly fast growing philodendron, it's actually been pretty slow for me. So I want to take it off this wood plank, put it on a moss pole, and hopefully we can speed up this growth and even the leaf size, just because you can see it is not sizing up with each new leaf. It is remaining the same. So it's definitely not feeling secure on that wood plank, so it's time to get it off and put it on a moss pole. Some plants like this Baltic Blue Pothos do extremely well on a wood plank. It doesn't take them very long to latch on to the wood support system with their aerial roots. You can see they have some larger aerial roots, and then they have some smaller ones that I call little caterpillar feet. It is so cool when they latch onto the wood plank like this, but for some reason, like I said, the philodendrons, doesn't matter which variety it is, they just don't do well on a wood plank. The majestic is a cross between the varicosum, which has the trademark kind of reddish underside of the leaves, and then the sotoroi, so it is a cross between the two, and it's an absolutely beautiful plant. But despite using tape to secure it to the board, and then occasionally I will mist the board as well, just to kind of entice those roots to grow into the wood, you can see it is not attached. So the difference I've found between the philodendron and the pothos is that the philodendron, they don't have those big chunky aerial roots like a pothos does, and then they don't have those little feet along the back side of the stem. So they don't have the same support as a pothos would onto a wood plank. So that's why I think these philodendrons do extremely well on a moss pole, because they search out for moisture with just these aerial roots at this node. So when I slice off the tape here, you can see the plant just comes right off the wood plank. I have tried different types of moss poles, but the one that's worked best for me is this plastic D-shaped pole. The reason for that is it holds onto moisture longer than those DIY round ones. Those ones would dry out like within a day in my house. I'm on the Canadian prairies, and we're not known for our high humidity here. It's actually extremely dry, so it tends to dry out quite quickly when it's not encased in the back. So these have done really well for me, and I'm going to be using it again today for the majestic. I just realized that it's getting a new leaf up here as well, so I'm hoping that this doesn't send it in too much of a shock where it sends out like a deformed leaf. So now I'm just going to slice off the tape, remove the plant from the plank, or the plank from the pot, I guess, and then the plant from the pot. I don't want it to fall over, so I'm just going to take the plank out and then lay this plant down. I'm also going to switch it up here and give it some fresh soil, so I'm just going to knock the pot and see if I can take this out, and we'll have a look at the root system here as well. I'm not going to disturb it. Okay, probably not much of a root system here. So not bad. I'm going to leave it like this. It's actually really dry. This one dries out really fast, and I know it's in terracotta, but yeah, it dries out really fast. So I'm going to be careful of those roots, and I'm going to get some new soil. So I have a little bit of a problem, so I'm going to secure the plant to the moss bowl. I like to do this before I put it in the pot, just so it's easier to handle both the plant and the moss bowl. But if I add the support around the plant, hopefully this reaches. I'm just reusing the plant Velcro from another plant, so it's nice and secure. But as we go to the top of the moss bowl, you can see it is taller than the top here. So I'm going to have to add a second moss bowl to the top, a little extension piece, and hopefully these roots can grow into the moss, and then I can do like a chop and prop, and then take the top cutting and put it lower in the pot just to continue on with getting larger leaves as it grows. So I'm just going to finish securing this to the moss pole here. I like to push it right up against the moss, and then kind of as tightly as I can add the plant Velcro just so these aerial roots come in contact with the damp moss. So thankfully I had another one on hand. They just come in these like plastic sheets. You put the moss in and you just fold it up, and it is super easy, super simple. It's way better and way cleaner than doing the DIY round moss pole. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go out and buy some more of these because this is my last one and I need a couple more for some plants downstairs here. I do have them on my Amazon page. The link will be down in the description. Now if THICCLY, this is a THICCLY poll, if THICCLY is watching this video and you want to sponsor another video, I will happily continue to support your product. Okay, so now all you do is just fit this, the top portion on the inside of the bottom pole. Now they do have some tabs that they do snap together. So I'm just going to kind of fold it together and just place them together. There. Now this top piece is connected to the bottom piece. And now I just need one of these support ties just to secure the top portion to the pole, and then I can pot it up in the new pot. Oh, it's not going to reach. Oh, it did. Okay, something like that. I'm not going to be using the same soil. I will be switching up to VeryPlants aeroid mix. I've been using this for a lot of my aeroids recently, so that's pretty much all they get. So I'm just going to put a little soil in the bottom. Then I'm going to place the roots as well as the moss pole right in the pot. And now I'm just going to backfill and then give it some water. Use my pencil to poke down all the soil around the roots, filling any air gaps. These roots are super dry, so I'm going to have to give it a good thorough watering here. Make sure I kind of poke that down just so it remains upright. I'm going to put a little bit of finer soil at the back here just to help stabilize that as well. Here is the finished product, and as soon as these aerial roots grow into the moss on the top portion of the moss pole, then I'm going to chop it, propagate it. I'm going to take the top section, put it lower in the pot, and then let it continue to grow up, getting those larger leaves. And then as it needs another extension piece, you can add that on top. And then once it outgrows that, you can chop the top again and place it lower in the pot. And that's how you get larger, mature leaves with each moss pole section. So I think that's going to be pretty much it for this video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it down below in the comment section. Thanks again for watching my videos and for all the support. Take care, everyone. Bye.